Hello, my name is host Eric, and I'm the host of a show called Talking with Famous People. And today we're going to be answering the very important question of why exactly it is your kids think so differently from you and what you can do to bridge the gap. So you may have noticed that while you value something like a carefully kept schedule, doing all your homework, keeping your room neat, stuff like that, perhaps your child is fairly chaotic in contrast. Maybe your child seems well-intentioned, wants to complete all their assignments, but tends to forget. Or in contrast, perhaps your child seems to be interested in making friends, but doesn't have a particularly good social skills. You wonder why they don't engage with these other people. Well, the answer may be as simple as MBTI. And that stands for Myers-Briggs Typing Index, but more specifically, that's a shorthand we use to refer to the real source of this information, which is the Jungian cognitive function model. Now, each human being has a stack of cognitive functions ranging from 1 to 4 in their conscious stack. That means that we think about the world in 4 main different ways and in a certain order of priority. So for me, as an ENTP type personality, I think about the world in this way: possibilities first, accuracy second, harmony third, and my own personal schedule and life fourth. That means I tend to be pretty messy. I tend to have a hard time keeping my schedule track of that stuff. I have a hard time following through. I'm good at starting projects, not so good at finishing them. It's because I start with the possibilities. Let's say as a mother, you happen to be an ISFJ personality type. If you don't know your type, that's fine, but you may recognize some of these traits as things that you, in fact, recognize in yourself. If you were an ISFJ personality type, your dominant function, your first slot function, would be yourself and organization of yourself in time. That's your introverted sensing. And if you're an ISFJ, your second function would be to focus on harmony. So organization and harmony. Your third function would be to focus on possibilities. And your last function would be to, your third function would be to focus on accuracy, and your last function would be possibilities. So a different priority would result in an interesting relationship between your kid, right? Where you prioritize those things is going to be a big factor in how you relate to your child and why your child may or may not understand some of the values that you know ought to be upheld, but that they seem unable or unwilling to uphold. It may be as simple as they have different values, and we need to find a way to bridge those things. So the model tells us there are 16 types in general, and certainly types of all sorts become mothers, but certain kind of mothers are likely to maybe click on this video, and that would be an SFJ mother. The reason I'm making this video for those type people is that in general, SFJ types are not very interested in MBTI and may not have identified themselves as a specific type, but they are likely to be interested in understanding why their children in particular do not communicate with them particularly well or don't seem to ascribe to the same values as they do. They may have trouble controlling children who are a different personality type depending on the type that they are. So I think it's important for the SFJ population of parents to look into this as a means of better understanding how to actualize their children to make them as successful as possible and to help them to attain some of those values that they prioritize and think that their children ought to prioritize as well. Now, largely, the SFJ values are very good values to prioritize because you're talking about valuing organization and harmony. If you're an ESFJ, it goes harmony then organization. If you're an ISFJ, it goes organization then harmony. This is in contrast to other types in that quadra, which is called the alpha quadrant, including the ENTP and INTP, which prioritize, respectively, possibilities and accuracy. There are 4 other functions which you or your children maybe have. You're not necessarily an SFJ for sure. If you are, for example, an INTJ, you share none of those 4 functions. You're not talking about possibilities. You're talking about final truths. That's your first function. If you are in the second function, you're dealing with effectiveness. So final truths, effectiveness. Then you're talking about your own feelings. And then lastly, how to take action. So those are different functions, but overall there's 4 functions, each of which has 2 attitudes. And a function plus its attitude produce a certain directionality of the sorts that I said. Either possibilities or final outcomes. Final truths. Either accuracy or effectiveness. either harmony or self-satisfaction, either action or placing your actions on an internal timeline, scheduling yourself out, understanding your life history, stuff like that. So, understanding these functions and understanding the Jungian model and MBTI is one way that you can better understand how to resolve conflicts with your children and to help them to find a shared value system with you that allows you both to move through the world peaceably, successfully, and to good effect. So that concludes this video, and I plan to follow up with some more videos aimed at SFJ parents regarding instances they may run afoul of in parenting and how to view those through the cognitive function model. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to parent as well as you are now, which is very well. You guys are good parents.